All right, here we go. The Angmar Awakened cycle has released the player cards, and with it came some suggested deck lists. So I have built the Dúnedain deck here in Rings DB. And yeah, the heroes are Dúnedain, but the allies, not so much. There really isn't a lot of Dúnedains here. And there are some cards that I would expect to see in a Dúnedain deck that are available based on the Angmar Awakens and the core set that aren't in this deck. So I'm a little curious about that, but that's all right. We'll give this deck a shot. It looks very powerful. It's definitely heavy on defense. You should be able to handle enemy attacks and then kill them if you want, but keeping enemies engaged with you is supposed to be the Dúnedain thing. The thing it's missing, though, is card draw. There's none. There is no card draw. The only card draw you have is, I guess, gather information and send for aid because they find you one card, and then Gandalf. But Gandalf as your only source of major card draw is not a good plan, because to sneak Gandalf in, you need a little card draw to make sure you can find Sneak Attack and Gandalf and get them both in your hand. So I'm thinking I'm going to be top decking a lot, and I'm thinking I'm going to end the game, assuming I win. I'm going to end the game with a lot of resources and no cards to play, which that can make for a boring game. If you end up with a ton of resources and no cards to play, you need to add more card draw. You need to get more cards in your hand so you can play them. It also can mean it's going to be a long game. All right, let's get to the game. All right, the quest we're going to be playing is the Caves of Nib and Doom. This is the second quest in the Dark of Mirkwood POD. There is a great chance you'll get enemy swarmed in this quest, which is supposed to be what the Dúnedain want to happen. I'm going to go through setup, so we're going to set some cards aside. We get the Cave Torch, and we get to attach that to a hero. It's restricted, so you got to make sure you're putting it on someone who can have a restricted slot taken up. Action: exhaust Cave Torch to place up to 3 progress tokens on a dark location, forced. After Cave Torch exhausts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it's an enemy, add it to the staging area. The heroes are Tactics Aragorn, he's 12 threat, 2/3/2/5, Dúnedain, Ranger, Warrior. Each enemy engaged with you gets -1 defense. Response: after Aragorn participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, choose an enemy not engaged with you and engage that enemy. We also have Halbrad, he's Leadership, 10 threat, 2/2/2/4, so it's a good stat line, and he's got an ability that helps that stat line. While you're engaged with an enemy, Halbrad does not exhaust to commit to the quest. You may optionally engage one additional enemy during the engagement phase. And then finally, Amarthiel. Marty has 10 threat. He's Leadership. He's 1/3/3/3, Dúnedain, Ranger, Warrior. While you are engaged with at least one enemy, Amarthiel gains the Tactics resource icon. While you're engaged with at least 2 enemies, add 1 additional resource to Marty's resource pool during the resource phase. All right, so 3 Dúnedain, and as you can tell, 3 abilities that have to deal with enemies and combat. Yeah. All right, 32 starting threat. That's high. We're going to add the Cave Torch to Halbrad because Marty might be getting some weapons and Aragorn might be getting some weapons. Honestly, there's not enough restricted attachments in this deck that I really need to worry about who's holding on to the Cave Torch. Let's take a look at 1B. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck for a different location and adds it to the staging area, then shuffle. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. We're adding a 3-threat Goblin Dungeon, 5 progress needed, travel. You reveal an encounter card, and when it's explored, I get to look at my top 5 cards, and I can put an ally into play and then shuffle my deck. So that's a good one when I have no card draw in my deck. Technically, I should draw my hand before I set up the quests, but I always like to do it this way. I think it makes for a smoother video. So we're going to give the deck a good shuffle, and I'm really hoping to have a good starting hand. I guess I'd like to see Steward, and I'd like to see Sneak Attack Gandalf, since that's my only way of drawing cards. Allies, I guess? I really don't know. The deck list it's pretty non-combo-y. It's basically there's allies, and you play the allies, and you hope for the best. All right, we get Faramir, Dúnedain Hunter, a veteran axe hand, Snowborn Scout, Ingold, Durndingle Warrior. So I drew 6 allies and only one of them is Dúnedain. So like I said, very strange for a Dúnedain deck. I'm going to give that a shuffle. I didn't get anything too exciting. I think I can get a hand equally as good or better. All right, let's see what I get here. Like I said, this quest, you can get enemy swarmed, so I'm testing this Dúnedain deck against a quest that is an enemy swarm deck. All right, Veteran Axe Hand is back. Gandalf, Sneak Attack. Hey, there we go. The Hunter, Snowborn Scout, and the Ranger of Cardolan. A lot of the same cards, but I managed to get Sneak Attack Gandalf, so that's great. Hopefully I can use that to get 3 cards. All right, let's draw, and we get Ingold. So yeah, a lot of cards that I had in my first hand, but all right, let's play Snowborn Scout. So when he enters play, he places a progress on a location in play. So let's place 1 progress on that location up in staging. And then that's really all I want to do. I don't want to sneak in Gandalf if I don't have an enemy or something I have to worry about. So yeah, and only 4 willpower can be sent on the quest. So it's 4 against 3. That's not good. And we reveal, holy cow. All right, the Great Cave Troll. Yikes. 3 threat. That means we're going to underquest by 2. I have to raise my threat by 2. And he's nasty because when he attacks, excess damage does a negative effect. So that's not great. All right, let's travel there. We got to reveal an encounter card to go there. And we get Lost in the Dark. When revealed, the player who controls the cave torch must choose either exhaust the cave torch, which means we might get another enemy, or progress cannot be placed on the quest until the end of the phase. You would still place progress on the active location. Of course I'm going to choose the second option. Even though I'm not in the quest phase, I could still place progress on the quest, like Corset Legolas doing something. So I can choose that as an option. We're going to engage this troll, and then I can pop in the Ranger of Cardolan. He has a response. After you engage an enemy, if you control at least 1 Dúnedain hero, spend 1 resource to put the Ranger of Cardolan into play from your hand under your control. At the end of the round, if he's still in play, shuffle him into your deck. So that's great. I'm going to pop him in, and then with my last resource, Sneak Attack Gandalf. So I'm doing all of my tricks here on turn 1 because that will give me enough attack to kill this troll if I chump with the Snowborn Scout. I do not even need to do direct damage to him with Gandalf, so I'm going to use Gandalf's ability to, surprise, surprise, draw 3 cards. We get Faramir, good. Feint, good. And the Sword of Númenor. Okay, I wish I had that in play right now. Okay, so let's chump with the Snowborn Scout. That's what he's meant to do. No shadow, and then the Cave Troll said for every excess point of damage dealt, we'd remove progress from the quest. There is no progress on the quest, and you don't remove it from the active location. And with Gandalf, the Ranger, and Amarthiel, we are able to kill him. So that is amazing. So Gandalf comes back into my hand, and the Ranger gets shuffled into my deck. So it's bittersweet. I used pretty much all of my tricks I drew in my opening hand, but I also basically got rid of an enemy that was probably going to end the game for me. I couldn't leave that much threat up in staging, and I needed to kill it before I had any more enemies engage me. All right, let's go into the next round. Okay, the card I draw is unfortunately another copy of Faramir. I'm going to play the Sword of Númenor, and I'm going to be putting that on Amarthiel, so he's going to get +1 attack. And then if I participate in an attack that destroys an enemy with 5 or more printed hit points, I exhaust the sword to gain a resource. If you have the Defenders of Gondor starter deck, I would add more weapons to this deck and 3 copies of Foe Hammer and get rid of some other cards to stay at 50. All right, I committed 4 to the quest. We get Doomed 1 from Eyes in the Dark. And then when revealed, each player must choose either raise your threat by 1 for each questing character you control or discard a questing character you control. Well, obviously I'm raising my threat. The good news is I added no threat, so I'm going to make enough progress to clear the active location. When that is explored, I get to look at the top 5 cards of my deck, and I can put in an ally of my choice into play. Please be a good one. I'm pretty sure I'll get an ally. I'm just hoping I have some options. All right, the Veteran Axe Hand, Honor Guard, that's nice, and the Ranger, and oh man, my next card was Steward. That sucks. I'm going to put this Honor Guard into play because he cancels damage, and I'm going to try to keep my heroes alive. The Ranger was also tempting, but I like using his ability, so I didn't want to just put him in play. I'm hoping to draw him and use his ability if I need to, because he's a nice cheap ally to bounce in. And with that, we're going to go into the next round. Okay, it would have been Steward, but instead we get... Oh, this is nice, the Ranger summons. I wish this was a 3 of in this deck. So if I control a Dúnedain hero, I can spend 1 resource, and I can pop in a Ranger of the North that I have set aside into the encounter deck. He'll surge if he gets revealed, but then I get to claim him. And this is a planning action, so you only can do it in the planning phase. But it's nice. It's nice to get these Rangers in your encounter deck, and hopefully they come into play. All right, I still have a lot of resources. So looking at my hand, I think what I'm going to do is put it into Dúnedain Hunter, because I'm pretty sure I can handle it. So he comes in for free, and then I'm going to look at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck and put an enemy from those top 5 in play engaged with me. And because I'm adding it to the play area, I don't have to do any when revealed. So let's see what we get. Ah, nice. Okay, 2 enemies that have text that have to do with being revealed. So the one surges, and the other one has a threat boost. Now the other one was wimpier, but I'm going to get the surge out of the deck. So I'm going to have this enemy engaged with me, and now Amarthiel has the tactics icon. If I hadn't found any enemies, I would have to have discarded that Dúnedain Hunter. Let's put in this veteran axe hand. This is a great card you could get rid of and replace with foe hammer and more weapons. Okay, another body on the table, and I'm still not questing for much. I'm trying to save up so I can get Faramir into play. So Halbrad does not exhaust the quest now. I'm sending 5, and we get the Collapsed Mine. 2 threat, 6 progress. While it's in the staging area, no more than 4 progress can be placed on the quest each round. That's hard to remember. Okay, well, we make 3. So we finally get progress on the quest. Let's travel there. And we're getting attacked for 3. I'm going to defend with Amarthiel. So it's 3 against 3. And there is a shadow. Cancel all combat damage dealt. Well, that's fine. I wasn't planning on killing this guy anyway. So we can't do any damage to him. And we go into the next round. And yeah, just top decking. I do not like top decking, guys. I really don't. I wish I could definitely be drawing more cards. The Secret Vigil lets me drop my threat. Unfortunately, the enemy I have in play is only 1 threat, so that wouldn't be worth it. You know what? Instead of getting Faramir in, I gotta make a call here. So I'm going to pop in Gandalf and drop my threat by 5 and try to make some major progress. This active location has 6 quest points. And I know I could be exhausting the Cave Torch to try to place progress, but I really can't handle a second enemy. But I can handle this! Holy crap. I actually get the Ranger of the North. So he's engaged. He's not engaged with me. He's with me, and he lets me either deal damage or place some progress. I'm going to place progress because that's what this deck does not do well. Combat, it does do well. Okay, that surges, and we get a little snipey snipe, little goblin sniper. So he's only 2 threat. So we do make quite a bit of progress. So that's nice. So we're going to clear the active and place 3 more. We need to get to 8. And we should be at 6, but I screwed up my die, and we are at 5, I think. Okay, so now we are going to engage the sniper. We're allowed to because it's the only enemy in the staging area. And actually, Aragorn, if I killed the goblin I'm engaged with, he could actually drag it down. So that's nice tech against the goblin sniper if you're playing Journey Along the Anduin or something. All right, 3 against 3, no shadow. That's a nasty treachery to get rid of. So Marty takes no damage. And then I'm going to have the Ranger defend 2 against 2. I'm not allowed to damage the goblin sniper. I was thinking about killing that goblin. I'm only just going to hit him for 2 and deal 1 point of damage, which actually is incorrect. Aragorn is reducing his defense by 1, so that would actually have killed him. I was just thinking I want to get that extra resource so I can try to get Faramir into play, so I wanted to keep 2 enemies engaged with me, so I should have just not have attacked at all. So just to ignore that 1 damage on him, I guess. Okay, we draw Beorn. That is another card you could easily cut from this deck and replace with something. If you have the Defenders of Gondor deck, there are definitely cards you could be putting in here. Let's play Secret Vigil on the Goblin Sniper. So when I kill him, I get to drop my threat by 2, his threat. All right, and I got an additional resource on Marty because I am currently engaged with 2 enemies. Let's commit to the quest. I'm only going to send 4, Halbrad and the Ranger of the North, and we reveal Lost in the Dark again. So I either exhaust the cave torch, which could get an enemy added to the staging area, or I can't place progress. You know what? It's fine. I won't place progress. I'm okay. I know what happens when I advance to this next stage, so I'd kind of like to kill one of these enemies. So let's defend with Marty. 3 against 3. No shadow. We're fine there. And then I'm going to defend with... I don't know. It's a 2 attack. Aragorn's going to defend. No shadow there. And then I need to kill the goblin sniper, so he's dead. And I get to drop my threat by 2. And let's go into the next round. I thought about killing this goblin too, but I don't want to get a surge card back into the encounter deck. We draw a Dúnedain warrior. That's a good defensive option, something this deck really doesn't need. Okay, Faramir coming in, so now I can boost willpower when he exhausts. So let's get Faramir into play. I only got 1 resource on Marty this round, and I have a feint, which is going to be good. If you've played this quest before, you know what's about to happen, assuming I progress. So I also wanted to keep an enemy engaged with me, so Halbrad doesn't exhaust. Okay, 4 against nothing. We get a 2 threat. Cavern Warg, he has a response that when he attacks you, you can cancel the attack by exhausting the torch. Okay, so we only added 2 threat, which means we're going to make 2 progress, and then by exhausting Faramir, we do advance. Okay, so we have surprise attack. We're going to add the Goblin Chieftain to the staging area, and then we're also going to find a enemy in the deck. So let's see what the Goblin Chieftain says. 40 engagement, 8 hit points, XXX. X is the stage number of the quest. He cannot take damage. He cannot have attachments. And then after he attacks, either remove X progress from the quest or bounce him back up to the staging area. All right, let's grab the other enemy, a copy of it, that has Surge. So trying to avoid these surgy little goblins. All right, that's 4 enemies in play. So I'm glad I killed the 1. And then this says, during the encounter phase, treat each enemy's engagement as if it was 0. And this quest stage gets +4 quest points for each enemy in play. Here comes the baddies. Well, this is why I chose this quest. This Dúnedain deck is supposed to be able to handle lots of enemies. That's kind of their thing. So we have 4 enemies engaged with us. Unfortunately, this is where I don't understand the deck. None of the allies in the deck benefit you from engaging a bunch of enemies, and that's what Dúnedain are supposed to do. So I'm kind of confused by this. So I'm going to be building my own version of a Dúnedain deck using just the core set and cards from this Angmar Awakened repackaging. All right, 3 against 3. This says if it was undefended, discard an ally. All right, that means taking undefended attacks is dangerous here. All right, the chieftain's attacking for 2. The axe hand could live. Let's see, +1, +3 if it's a goblin. All right, well, he dies, so that takes care of that guy. All right, we still have 2 more attacks of 3 coming. I think I will defend the Surgy Goblin with Halbrad, and it's if this attack destroys a character, return the enemy to the staging area. That's where the chieftain should be. I got to remember to do that. All right, I'm going to cancel 1 point of damage. Halbrad would have just taken. And then we have 1 more 3 attack coming. And Aragorn's going to defend here. +1, +3 if it's a goblin. Oh, thank goodness it's not a goblin. Okay, so Aragorn takes 2 damage. All right, that's not great because there's no way to really heal him. And I still have the Dúnedain Hunter ready. He can attack for 3. He can kill one of the Surgy Goblins. And then, like I said, the chieftain should have bounced back up to the staging area. Okay, well, I'm still engaged with 2 enemies, so I'm going to collect the additional resource when I start the next round, which let's go to right now. Yep, just kind of plotting our way along here. So we get a Snowborn Scout. All right, not much happening. Top decking, playing 1 or 2 allies around. Kind of boring, but it's working. I'm making my way. I'm going to play a Dúnedain warrior, so I can give him a damage when he's defending to give him +3 defense. He comes in exhausted. But yeah, it's really just draw 1 card around and get allies into play is really what this deck is doing. It's functional. I think it is really supposed to work with the Fellowship, with the other deck that was designed. The other deck definitely can quest for more, and then you can just handle all the combat over on this side of the table. All right, we're not questing for much. We're up against 2. We get Branching Paths. It gets +1 threat, and each other dark location gets +1 threat as well while it's in staging. And then when we explore it, we got to reveal a card and put the other 2 on the bottom of the deck after looking at 3. I'm going to use Faramir to boost everyone's willpower, and I forget that Halbrad's actually questing, so I only increase it by 2. But that's okay. I put 4 on the quest, which is the bare minimum you need to get through here, because the Goblin Chieftain is never leaving, and it's 4 quest points for every enemy in play. Let's travel to the paths, and then the Chieftain comes back down because his engagement is 0. And you shadow up. They're all 0, so you just deal them out however you want. And I have a feint in hand if I want to. And, okay, let's see. Amarthiel, 3 against 3. And there is no shadow. Okay, he's fine. Marty handled that, no problem. And then let's go 2 defense against 2 attack. Ooh, there's a shadow. Attacking enemy gets +1 for each other enemy engaged with me. All right, so the Honor Guard blocks 1, and then Marty still takes 1, and then Watchful Eyes is the other shadow. That was nothing, and that means the Snowborn Scout is dead. That's what they do. And then, once again, my Dúnedain Hunter is ready. The Chieftain is up there. The Dúnedain Hunter, let's see. Yeah, he could kill the one little goblin guy. Honestly, I'm just going to deal the damage to the Warg, make him 1 hit point away from death, because I'd rather get the resource, and I know I'm really not going to be able to progress next round anyway. The odds are pretty slim. Let's see what I draw. Another Honor Guard. Okay, nice. Okay, that's really good. That's really good. So let's get a second Honor Guard into play. I'm not, what it is I'm not super worried about combat, because I have that Dúnedain Warrior, I have Feint, so I'm okay leaving 2 enemies engaged with me so I can get that extra resource and hopefully get Beorn in and Ingold real soon. All right, let's go questing. All right, well, I still don't have a lot of willpower on the table. So Halbarad for 2, Aragorn for 2, the Ranger of the North for 2 is 6. And once again, we're up against 2. The active location has 3 progress to clear. And we get, oh, good golly. Okay, it's the Goblin Troop. I forgot that enemy was in this deck. Okay, that's not great. So I'm just gonna place 1 progress. I'm not gonna use Faramir because I don't want to have to choose another card to reveal. Oh my gosh. Okay. Remember I said I wasn't worried about combat? I'm a little worried about combat. All right, let's deal out shadows. So the Goblin Troop boosts all the other goblins' attack and defense. So we are going to spend 1 tactics resource and we are going to feint the Goblin Troop. And then everybody else is attacking for 1 more. So that's dangerous. So Amarthiel is going to defend for 3. And he's attacking for 3. Okay, well, wow, there was another one of those cave trolls in here too. Holy cow. I didn't realize there was such big enemies left in this encounter deck. All right, I'm good there. The Dúnedain Warrior is defending. This guy is actually attacking for 4. So the Dúnedain Warrior is going to damage himself and defend for 5. You can't use the Honor Guard to cancel that damage. You have to take the damage to trigger his effect. Okay, and then Faramir's defending here, and there is a shadow. Raise your threat by 1 for each point of damage dealt by this attack. Okay, well, no problem. I can use both Honor Guards, and he takes no damage. All right, what can we kill? All I have ready is this Hunter, and everybody gets +1 defense, but Aragorn is reducing their defense, so it's just their printed stats at this point. And he can kill that warg that he damaged. And then I guess technically this is a mistake. Halbarad shouldn't be able to kill this goblin because he shouldn't be wounded, because I should have killed him when I actually attacked him earlier. So I guess, you know, you can look at it like, well, I shouldn't have had that enemy with me this whole time, or he'd still be with me. But anyway, I made a mistake there. Got a little confused with the buffs and debuffs. Okay, moving on to the next round. I mean, yeah, okay. Dúnedain Warrior again. Yeah, I mean, I have lots of resources, but top decking. I don't mean to sound too down, but top decking is very boring. All right, put the Dúnedain in. He's exhausted. We got to shuffle the encounter deck as soon as we get into the quest phase. And once again, I will be sending 6, I guess. So Halbrand, Aragorn, and the Ranger of the North. I'm up against 2, and we reveal a little snipety snipe. So we're going to make 2 progress, which is just enough to clear the active. So now we need to look at the top 3 cards. We're going to put 2 on the bottom and reveal 1. So let's see what cards we get. One of those great big cave trolls? Yeah, nope. Okay, this one is we need to find a goblin enemy and put it into play, or we can just grab this goblin enemy. Let's see, yeah, we gotta reveal it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to choose the treachery that makes me find a goblin enemy, and I'm going to find that little wimpy goblin that I would have put on the bottom of my deck. So I'm just going to put him in play, and I don't have to reveal him. I also could have found one of those little surgy goblins again. I guess I don't really know which one's the better one to grab at this point. I need to, once again, deal with 4 enemies. So, I mean, the one thing this deck is doing right, like I said, I think with the Fellowship, it would be really better. It's handling combat, no problem. I mean, I am handling a lot of combat. Speaking of combat, let's get to it. The Dúnedain will defend the troop. If it destroys a character, return it to the staging area. Okay, Dúnedain will damage himself, so it's 5 against 5. We're going to take this one undefended. No shadow there. Goodbye, Mr. Troll. So I'm going to take 1 point of damage. Nowhere! Thank you, Honor Guard. Okay, getting attacked for 2. Halbrand will defend. He's actually attacking for 3. Deal 1 damage to the defending character. Okay, that's a bummer. So I'm going to block 1, and then I should have taken another damage because they're all boosted by the troop. And then this guy is attacking for 2, and he should have dealt 1 damage. So I try to correct that a little later. I realize that they were getting boosted by the troop. All right, let's see. Marthiel can attack for 4, and then the Hunter can attack for 3. So that is a total of 7, and the goblins that aren't the troop are getting a defensive boost of 1, but Aragorn is reducing the defense by 1. So let's just have Marty kill the little sniper, and then the Dúnedain Hunter will kill the other little goblin scout. I tried to put the damage on to the best of my memory. I think one should have went on Faramir, not a Marthiel, but at least I assigned some damage. I lost track of my triggers there. All right, let's see what card we draw. It is a very, I guess, needed Steward of Gondor. I really don't need a ton of resources. Okay, put it on Marty because he has 2 different resource types. I can put in Ingold, so he gets +1 willpower for every hero I control with a resource in his resource pool. So I'm going to try to keep at least 1 resource in everybody's resource pool. So he quests for 3. All right, so he's questing for 3. And then there's 2 more. And then there's 2 more. I can keep Aragorn ready. We get a 4 threat lightless passage. And to travel there, you have to exhaust the cave torch. I make 1 more progress. I need to at least have 8 so I can advance because it's +4 per enemy in play. So I'm going to use Faramir, and we get out of this stage. So side 3A of the chasm, we set the Goblin Chieftain aside. We add the cracked pillar to the staging area. And then 3B, it is no progress needed. Forced, reveal an additional encounter card in the quest phase. Progress cannot be placed on the cracked pillar while it's in the staging area. Once the cracked pillar leaves play as an explored location, we can advance. The cracked pillar is a 2/2, and then basically we have to attack it using the threat as defense. So in the combat phase, we attack it and we try to knock it over. And then we can travel there if we get 4 damage on it. And then if we explore it, we advance to the final stage of this quest. All right, so we can't travel there. So let's exhaust the cave torch to travel to the passage. And we do get an enemy. So we don't have to reveal it. That's nice. So you just discard, then add. So the surge doesn't trigger. And let's deal out the shadow cards. And let's see if I remember the additional boost. So the Dúnedain that is not damaged is going to defend. He's defending for 5 against 5. This guy is attacking for 4. Let's have the other Dúnedain defend this one. The honor guards can potentially save his life. No shadow, so both honor guards will cancel the 1 point of damage each that he would have taken. All right, now I need to do 4 damage to the pillar, which means I need to attack for 6. So Halbarad and Amarthiel attack for 6. There's 4 damage on the pillar. We need to get out of here. And I cannot muster up enough attack to kill the troop with the characters I have in play. So I'm going to use Aragorn to kill the Surgy Goblin, and then I'm going to sneak in Beorn. And I'm going to use Beorn's big ability to attack for 5 additional. So he's attacking for 8. He kills that troop. And then at the end of the phase, Sneak Attack and Beorn both have a passive ability that has to deal with what you do with Beorn. You get to choose which one because they're both triggering off the same thing and they're both passive. I'm going to choose to put Beorn in my hand via Sneak Attack instead of shuffling him into my deck via his own card effect. All right, no more enemies engaged with me, so no tactics icon on Amarthiel. Halbarad's going to have to exhaust a quest. Resources are really ramping up. Celebrian Stone, okay, that's nice. So that will go on Halbarad. Now, Celebrian Stone, if it went on Aragorn, he'd get the Spirit resource icon. So one of the things that you could do is put 3 copies of the stone in your deck and also play with Arwen, who came with this cycle. And Arwen can give resources to Aragorn, and that's a nice combo there. And then he would have Spirit, so he could help pay for those Elven Lights. He could get Steward. That's a fun deck. All right, sending characters on the quest. We're sending 11. We got to reveal 2 cards. We get a Troll. I'm playing fast now because we need to get through this. And 2 Threat Goblin Tunnels. Unfortunately, it's 7 progress to get through it. While it's in the staging area, it's removing progress when we reveal goblins. We make exactly 4 progress, which clears the Lightless Passage. We have 4 damage on the pillar that we can remove, so we can travel there. We're engaging this Troll. It removes progress based on excess damage it does. Going to defend with Dúnedain. There is a shadow. This says if it's undefended. Okay, it's not. The Dúnedain can use his ability to increase his defense by 3, and then 1 honor guard can stop him from taking the death blow there. And can I kill the cave troll? Let's see, Amarthiel swinging for 4. And then I have the hunter swinging for 3 more. And then I also have a Dúnedain and Faramir. That's 9. Aragorn reduces its defense by 1. So the cave troll is dead. Once again, no enemies engaged with me, but that's fine. I really need to focus on being able to quest. And if I have to hold back characters for defense, I'm going to struggle on this final round. The final quest stage, because revealing 2 encounter cards stinks. Ooh, okay, the Veteran of Osgiliath. So he gets +1 to his stats if my threat is 40 or more, and it is. So he will be questing for 2. That's awesome. So I have managed to grab a couple willpower cards here on my last 2 card draws, but guys, I hate top decking. I really do. It really makes for a boring game. I mean, I'm just drawing 1 card, and that's all I get to mess around with. All right, let's see. How much willpower can I muster up? That looks pretty good. All right, we get another Tunnels and another Lightless Passage. So that was 6 threat, 8 total. I need to make 2. Okay, we do. All right, let's advance to the final quest stage. So this is Oath Keepers. I just add the Goblin Chieftain, and then I need to keep 8 progress on this stage. And when there's 8 progress on it, the Goblin Chieftain is allowed to take damage. So that's the trick. The Goblin Chieftain, after he attacks, he bounces back up to the staging area unless you remove 4 progress. So basically, you need to go into the combat phase with 12 progress. All right, I exhausted the Cave Torch to travel to the Lightless Passage. It wasn't an enemy, so that was good. Now I'm getting attacked. He's attacking for 4. I'm going to have Faramir defend. I kind of don't care if he dies because I have another copy in hand. If it's undefended. Okay, it's not. So he actually doesn't take any damage thanks to the honor guards, but then he bounces back up. And so this is where I wish I could keep Aragorn ready, and I also wish I had another enemy, because then if Aragorn killed an enemy, he could pull the chieftain back down, and I wouldn't have to quest over him. But unfortunately, that's not what's happening, because this deck is lacking willpower. I really am kind of excited to play this deck with the other deck as well as a fellowship, because that deck looks like it can quest a lot better. There's a card I don't need right now. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't have time to quest against the side quests. But anyway, I think the fellowship will be okay. this deck by itself is very much a combat deck, and this scenario we have played has given us a lot of heavy combat, and the deck is handling it no problem. So, I mean, in a multiplayer game, yeah, sure. Again, but card draw. I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm going to pound it in. You need card draw. All right, what do we get? A surgy little goblin runner, and then a warg that says if we exhaust the cave torch, we can cancel his attack, and he bounces back up to the staging area. All right, using Faramir to boost the willpower I sent, I can boost my willpower up to 22 against 9. 4 will go on the active, and that means 9 will go on the quest. But like I said, the chieftain removes 4 progress after he attacks to keep him engaged with you. So I don't have enough. I don't want to travel to either of those locations because there's 7 quest points, and there was no progress on the quest when I revealed that goblin, so they didn't do anything. All right, 3 attacks coming. How am I going to handle this? I think I'll use the Dúnedain against a chieftain. I am in Valor. I'm 40 threat or higher. So the honor guards can cancel 5 points of damage if I discard them. But let's do the Dúnedain. Okay, no shadow. So if I raise my threat, I'm sorry, not raise my threat. If I remove 4 progress, I can keep him engaged with me. And I'm just going to let this Dúnedain die. I'm going to keep these honor guards as panic buttons so I can trigger their Valor. All right, the warg. I'm going to use the cave torch, and let's see. Okay, not an enemy. That's good. So the warg does not attack me. He's going to bounce back up to the staging area. I scared him off with the torch. Let's see what his shadow would have been. Raise your threat by 1 for something. Okay, and I mean, that's scary. I'm getting pretty high on threat. Okay, we got an attack of 3 coming. I'm going to take this one undefended. Deal 1 damage to the defending character. Okay, so it's only an attack of 3. So if I use both honor guards, I can just put 1 damage on a hero. That's good. I was planning on using the Valor action if I had to. Okay, I'm not allowed to attack the chieftain, but I can kill the goblin runner. So now I have an enemy engaged with me because I removed the progress to keep him engaged with me. So that means I have the tactics resource icon on Amarthiel. And basically, I just need to get 12 progress on the quest, and then I can win. Dúnedain Hunter? No, I do not need another enemy. 1 card left in the encounter deck. That's why I wish I had more of those ranger summons, because going through these decks, you're almost guaranteed to reveal them, or they're a shadow, which is nothing. You know, there's no shadow effect. All right, Beorn's in play. I don't have to exhaust Halbrad. He's questing for 4. 2 there, 2 from the veteran, 3 from Ingold. And yeah, I need to make sure I make enough progress here. I want to win. I'm up against 6. I'm only sending 11. I gotta send Aragorn. See, that's what stinks. I have to just keep sending Aragorn on the quest. And all right, we get a dungeon. So that's just a 3 threat location. We've made 4 progress. That's not enough because we ran out of encounter cards. We emptied the deck in the quest phase. You immediately shuffle it. So I'm gonna have to use Faramir to boost everything. So Faramir will boost us by 5. And okay, yep, that's good. So we had no active location, and we're going to have 15 progress on the quest. So that means, 14 progress on the quest. So that means we will be able to keep the chieftain engaged with us. I'm really bummed because Aragorn's ability would be pretty cool. He could kill like that warg and then drag the chieftain back down. All right, let's exhaust the cave torch again. There's no reason not to. I'm planning on winning right here. So if I do get an enemy added to the staging area, so what? I don't. All right, so we cancel this attack. There was no shadow. Big cave troll. Okay, the warg bounces back up. We're getting attacked for 4 here. Let's defend with the Dúnedain. Same thing. No shadow. Actually, I can use the honor guards just to cancel that damage. I don't have to use their valor response. And then let's remove 4 progress. We have more than 8 on the quest, so we can attack back. And I have plenty of characters, including Beorn, to put the damage on the chieftain. And that's a victory. And yep, I'm I'm looking forward to doing some deck building. This is the bones of a deck, I would say, but it needs some work. I guess the biggest thing I would say, if you've made it this far in the video, is if you only have the core set and you buy this Angmar Awakens, Angmar? It's a hard word for me to say. Awakens player cards thing. Building a deck with just tactics and leadership is difficult because the card draw options are not there. If you have some of the starter decks, then you have some more card draw options, but tactics and leadership with just these player cards is difficult. You will be top decking most of the game, and that can lead to a very drawn out and long game. But the deck did do what it was supposed to do. It handled a quest that was heavy on combat, and I feel like it handled the combat phase handily. It really did. So if that was the primary goal of this deck, then it succeeded. It was fine. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to take up the quote-unquote elves deck next. Not against this quest, I don't think. I don't know which quest I'm going to play. And then I'm going to take the Fellowship up against a quest from the Angmar Awakens cycle. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that one. Take care. Bye-bye.